Yes, sir.
Let's go here and talk more NFL. And a guy who is a hot button topic and a polarizing figure, and his name is Eli Manning.
Yes, he is.
The former New York Giants quarterback who has made the cut, right, in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You got the details. Let us know.
Yeah, so, they drop a bunch of nominees, and we kind of were talking about it yesterday with Pete Rose, Hall of Fame and everything. So a bunch of names kind of come out for the finalists. Then they narrow that 50 folks down to the 25 players that are named the semifinalists as they get closer and closer to determining who's going to actually be in. So that just dropped today, Rob Parker. And according to the all the outlets, here are some of the nominees, the new semifinalists, I should say. You have Eric Allen, cornerback, was really good. Jared Allen, you remember him, defensive end with the Vikings, really good. I'll just name a few more we know. Anquan Bolden, wide receiver. Antonio Gates, James Harrison, of course, with the Steelers. You got Torrey Holt with the Rams all those years. Fred Taylor, Steve Smith Sr., and Eli Manning, just to name a handful. There's obviously plenty more, but Eli Manning also on this list. And it has been an interesting conversation when it comes to Eli because many folks, including they interviewed a bunch of panelists and even some pro Hall of Famers already, and they're pretty much saying, no, he shouldn't be in. You had a lot of people who said no, you had a lot of people who said maybe, and you had a handful of people who said yes. Most people, conventional thinking is he'll get in. I, on the other hand, say no, he should not be in. No, Eli Manning should not be in. Yes, he has 2 Super Bowl rings, but Eli Manning, for the most part, was mid. He literally has a 500 record. He was thrown so many interceptions. He led the league in interceptions so many times. And not a time did a defense go into a game and say, you know who we got to stop? We got to stop Eli Manning. There was no defense that was worried about Eli Manning. He had a good career. I think he had some heck of a couple of games, and he has 2 Super Bowl rings. I do not poo-poo on those. However, he's getting in because of 2 names, that he is a Manning with Archie, with his brother, with himself, and because his 2 wins came at the expense of Tom Brady. That's why he's getting in, not because he was that great. There are plenty of players, quarterbacks, who are better than him. In fact, he's the definition of, yeah. And that's why he's going to get in. He's a Manning. He beat Tom Brady. That's it. Thank God for sticky on somebody's helmet, David Tyree, because that's what's also going to help him get in.
Couldn't be more wrong. Eli Manning is a legit Hall of Famer.
Stop it.
He's a layup for anybody who's honest about it, who's looking at his career as the I'll get it.
Ooh.
His entire career, not just handpicking and saying this and that. If you look at his career, and my point is, he's had an unbelievable postseason run twice. You can do it one time and people say you got lucky and things broke your way, but you can't beat Tom Brady, who you guys go around talking about as being the GOAT. Outshine Tom Brady, win 2 MVPs, have 2 signature throws, and you talk about the David Tyree play. That didn't win the Super Bowl. He didn't throw it up, and it was a lucky catch. He still had to get the ball to Plaxico Burress to actually win the game, which he did. The throw to Manningham might be one of the greatest throws ever in the history of the NFL. And also, he stopped and beat the 16-0 Patriots. And I don't know why people do not look at those things. Those are real deal moments. He's not getting in because his last name is Manning. Yes, his brother was a great player. His dad didn't win anything. It has nothing to do with that. And his brother really won one. The second one was a gift by the defense of the Denver Broncos. Peyton Manning was benched that year. He was so bad, had less than 200 yards in that Super Bowl. He didn't win. He was along for the ride. Eli Manning is the reason the Giants won those Super Bowls, because he came up big time against supposedly this GOAT you guys keep saying. So he's the GOAT. The Patriots were going to be undefeated, win the Super Bowl. No, it didn't happen because Eli Manning was able to rise to the occasion and win a Super Bowl that nobody thought he could win. And he did.
Rob Parker, it was that defense that stopped Tom Brady and that team. It was that front line. Do you remember how incredible that front line and front seven was? They were, and I'm not saying
their defense was so good they were leading at the end of the game, right? Because of their defense, or did they still need the quarterback to make a play?
Their defense stopped Tom Brady from scoring. Listen, I'm not a person who has to say somebody was trash. I'm not saying Eli Manning was trash. Eli Manning had a nice career. He did not have a Hall of Fame career. Eli Manning is 117 and 117. 500. Eli Manning has only completed 60% of his passes. Eli Manning, for the last half of his career after he won that a Super Bowl, was terrible. Listen to how many games he won after he won that Super Bowl. 7 wins, 6 wins, 6 wins. Finally had a good season, 11 and then 3, 5, 1. He was terrible at the end. For half of his career, I'm not even being mean, for half of his career, he was not good. He wasn't even good. He wasn't even solid. And so what I'm saying is the Hall of Fame, and you're a big fan of this. You say this. The Hall of Fame is supposed to be people we go, Joe Montana, check. We go Lawrence Taylor, check. Barry Sanders, check. Jerry Rice, check. Not Eli Manning.
So should we look at LeBron's career? Say he winds up playing, I'm just asking. He winds up playing 26 years and wins 4 championships. Is that spectacular? I'm just talking about that. Would you look at that in 24 years?
Because you would also say he was probably 15 times All-NBA. Eli Manning was never even an All-Pro. But you can't get in the Hall of Fame and not even be at one time considered the best at your position.
Because he did something that no one was able to do. And that's what you got to be able to have.
So then a Hall of a good game.
No, you got to be able to have something. And you can't do it once. The big thing is that he did it a second time. If he did it once, I would be with you. I would have your argument that he had the one day and everything went his way, and that was it. No, he did not. And go look. He had to go on the road to get there. They were a 6th seed both times they won the Super Bowl. They didn't win the division. They had to go to Green Bay and win.
My point,
they had to
Rob.
go to big places and win big games, Bo. Is what I'm trying to tell you is he was a big game player.
I will give you that. I would probably rather have him in a big game than his brother. I'd give you that. But he's not a Hall of Famer. The Hall of Fame is the totality of your career. It is all that you did.
I thought it was about. It's not about. Is this what they play to win? It's about winning the big game, right? You can't have.
No, it's about winning. Winning regular games.
Okay,
it's just winning. Period. He's 500.
But this is the argument. People will say Dan Marino, right, who went to the Super Bowl one time, didn't win, didn't have a Super Bowl ring, and they just look at his regular season. Or do you look at somebody's regular season that maybe wasn't the greatest, but you look at him in the biggest moments, the biggest spots, when you talk about the history of the NFL and what happened to that Patriots team with Tom Brady and Randy Moss, 2 Hall of Famers, and all those other players on that team, and you try to figure out why they didn't win and go undefeated, there's one guy, and he won the MVP. If he won 2 Super Bowls and he wasn't the MVP in both games, you would have a case. I would be with you, but he was the MVP in both games. That's what makes him different. He wasn't along for the ride. If it really was about the defense, it would have been given to a defensive player the same way that Peyton Manning didn't win the MVP when the Broncos won. The defense, right? It was a defensive player. It wasn't Peyton Manning.
Rob, he has to be a massive differential. Like that person, I can't tell the story of football without. Eli Manning, I can tell the football story easily.
No, you cannot. He beat Tom Brady twice.
That's why I keep telling you he's only in because of Tom Brady. If he beat, let's say he beat, I don't know, whoever, Phillip Rivers or somebody else, you wouldn't be saying it that much. It's because he beat with Tom Brady, which also, by the way, adds to Tom Brady's GOAT status that you keep telling me somebody else needs to be in the Hall of Fame because they beat somebody else.
No, but it's not.
That's the point.
And they were 18-0. They were undefeated. Go back to that season and look at that team and tell me you thought that the Giants had a shot at beating them. I remember when they talked about it. Tom Brady laughed, scoffed at them about that they were going to be held to a certain amount of points, and then the game would be on. Remember how that game went down. Brady and them scored, and then Eli and them got the ball back. Brady was all set up. Brady had gotten them to score to take the lead, and what did Eli do? Come down and get the score, get the big touchdown to beat them. It's an incredible story. Anybody who does not look at those, he belongs in the Hall of Fame.
That's just he is the literal definition of mid. Like, yeah, he was all right, he's nice, he was solid, And I can't believe how hard you take it, how serious you take your MLB vote. I won't put this person in. By golly, I don't care what you do. If I don't want to put you in once, I'll never put you in. You have all this criteria, but then when it comes to Eli, solid career at best, now all of a sudden Eli is a first batted shoe-in Hall of Famer. That is crazy.
That's why
to
he made
me,
the
Rob
cut.
Parker.
You're telling me he just made the cut? If he was that bad, why did he even make the cut?
Because his name is Eli Manning,
it's because of what he's been able to do.
If his name was Joe Smith, who beat Phillip Rivers, we would have a conversation. Yeah, he should be on the 100 and something people who get named.
Go look it up.
Sure.
Every quarterback that's won 2 MVPs in the Super Bowl is in the Hall of Fame.
And I bet you those other two you named had really good careers too.
Go look.
I bet you they had really good careers.
Ain't no way he's not going to get in the Hall of Fame because I just gave you the stat to prove the point. It's just
that you can be a person that was never all-pro, never the best at your position, never had any defense schemed up anything for you, and you can get in the Hall of Fame too, kids.
877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. We want to hear from you. I don't think that there's any question he belongs in the Hall of Fame. We want to hear from you. What do you think? Kelvin doesn't think so. He thinks that he shouldn't get in. Not at all. Not even an honorable mention that he's just a bum and he was lucky to win 2 Super Bowls and 2 Super Bowl MVPs.
There you go, put more. He wasn't a bum. He had a solid career. Good, that's it.